Okay, here we go. Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing? Hope you're all doing well today. It's as usual, just sit back for a little bit and allow everyone time to come in and join us and to get ready to be a part of the stream today. We've got a little bit I want to chat about, which is going to be good. A little bit of news coming out soon as well, which we may trade live, but it's unlikely that we will do that. But we'll definitely watch it, just because I'm not overly confident in it. When you get in, do say hi. Do let me know that you're here so I can ensure that everything is working properly. I can ensure the chats are working and we are live. It's been a wild couple of days with the Ukraine and Russia scenario still going in full swing. So it's going to be interesting to see how we all do. Hi Max, how you going? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting me know you're here as well. I appreciate that. I've tried something a little bit different on the TradingView account, so if anyone is over there on the TradingView account, please say hi. I want to know if chat's working. I'll give it a couple minutes. If I don't see anything, then I'm going to have to change that up. Hi Stephanie, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Good day, Fred. How you doing? I did get your email earlier, Fred. Well done with that. Unlucky, but it happens. You know, we need to react in accordance to how the markets are telling us. Like, is it Coursera? Is that right? Am I saying that right? How you going? All right, I've had nothing from the TradingView, so I've got a solid feeling I might have broken it. So give me a second if you guys are over on the TradingView. I'll try and fix that. How's everyone doing today? How has everyone's trading week been? We're here on Friday now, so if you've all been trading well, you're happy with how you performed this week? How are we looking? Kausar. Okay, sorry. Yes, it's Ahmad. Sorry, I saw the Sarah in the middle and got confused. Kausar Ahmad. Nice to see you, mate. Welcome. Hello, Paul from Thailand. How you doing, Paul? Welcome. I'm glad I could access this time frame for you. Just quickly checking. Sorry to keep doing this, guys. If there is anyone over on the TradingView account, give me a thumbs up or give me a hello, because I may have broken it and I might not be able to see chat. So that's a good start. Had a great trading week yourself. Really a pivotal week for you. Well done, Clayton. What have you done? Tell me about it. Why has it been such a pivotal week for you? What have you achieved this week? Jeff, how you going, mate? I've been really well this week. How have you taken everything we talked about on Monday? Have you felt like you've progressed a little bit, or you're making the right steps in what we discussed? Yeah, no worries, Paul. I'm here based in Melbourne, so I'm able to access these times. It's good for us. And when I say us, I mean yourself and me, because we can discuss what it's like trading on the other side of the world compared to where most of the finance guys tend to be. I'm glad I could be here too. Great week of trading in everything but Forex. No trades on Forex this week. Okay, that's better than losing. So I'm assuming you've been trading indices. Seems to be where a lot of the traders lean, or either commodities or indices that cross-check it with Forex. I haven't had too many trades this week either, Stephanie. Well, I had the one that I missed, which you already know about, but we'll probably run through that as well. I did have a fundamental play on the Aussie dollar early in the week, which made a bit of money on. I'll run through how we did that. And there may be a fundamental play for us to talk about in about 40 minutes. The Japanese yen's got some manufacturing data coming out, so we might be able to make a play on that depending on what we think. We'll do some research and we'll have a look at. I'm not overly confident in it, but I'll explain my thoughts process in how to do that. There we go. We've got someone over on the TradingView. How are you going? I'm not going to try to say your name because that's a load of numbers, but thanks for being here. How are you? Paul, were you doing this every morning? No, unfortunately not. I'm here every Friday morning, every week, but not every morning, unfortunately. I've really been working on my risk management, really solidifying the supply and demand strategy, and this is the first week where I've had more wins than losses. It's all starting to click. Fantastic, Clayton. Going to hit you with some fantastic experience knowledge. Don't get ahead of yourself. It happens a lot. we'll have a good trading week, and we'll move into the next week thinking, sweet, I've got it. And then we'll get absolutely ruined in the following week. So stay level-headed. Keep trading the way you're trading. Definitely keep working at it as well. Never stop trying to learn. But that's good. That is very good news. And hopefully as well, you've got a good risk-reward ratio too. So that should generate you a fair bit of profits. Hello, SA. How you going, mate? Good to see you. Definitely a good couple of weeks for you. Start on a small account and taking small profits and even smaller losses. And I'm trying to get the emotions out of it at this stage to start off with. Okay, going to drop some knowledge on you just quickly before we fully dive into it. It looks like we're getting a fair few people in here today, which is good. Don't try and remove emotions from your trading. Don't try and control emotions from your trading. Rather, incorporate emotions from your trading. So a lot of people and a lot of the market out there, if you've ever you probably have done like one of them courses, you know which one I'm referring to. They always say control your emotions, remove your emotions, trade like a killer. Don't think about anything, don't feel about anything. I highly disagree with that, and everyone that's done a one-on-one portfolio meeting with me will understand that because I've taught them through the process of analyzing. Your emotions are a signal, okay? Much like you follow trading signals at some point in your Forex career, probably. Your emotions are another signal. They're trying to tell you something. It is our job to figure out what they are trying to tell us. So rather than ignore them, control them, and suppress them, bring them forward, give them the light that they're trying to feel, analyze them, and understand what your emotions are telling you, and you'll improve your trading. We want to incorporate them into your trading plan rather than suppress them and get rid of them. Plus, you'll be a lot happier if you do that, because suppressing emotions is never a good idea, whether it be in trading or whether it be in real life. Little knowledge drop, just a quick one for you. Hello, Asfand. How you going, mate? Welcome. I focused on what we talked about all week, took a break and watched the market flow better and going in better strategy next week. Fantastic, Jeff. Fantastic. It's great to hear, mate. I'm happy. I saw you also booked in another meeting in a little bit as well. So I'm happy. I'm happy you're taking the steps, and I look forward to seeing your progress in a few weeks as we jump into those one-on-one meetings too. I agree about emotions. Yes, Stephanie. Yeah, it's definitely, you got to incorporate it into your trading. You can't ignore or suppress it. All right, let's start getting into it now. We're all here. We've all already had a knowledge dump, and we'll start moving into some chart analytics, some plays that we've played throughout the week, some trades that have taken throughout the week, and then we'll also have a look, as you've just mentioned, Asvan, on the NFP data. We've got some Japanese yen data coming out in about 40 minutes, which they might be able to take a play on. Unlikely. I don't think I'm going to take a play on it, but there's an opportunity there perhaps. We had some pretty good data come out for the Aussie dollar earlier this morning, which I want to talk about. So we've got a whole range of things that we can. It's going to be more fundamentally approached this trading live stream, but we are still going to have a look at the charts. We're going to have a look at some of the plays that I took through the week and everything that we can do on that. So as we move over to the charts, let's dive straight into it. It says starting with EU, not just yet, but I will soon. I will run through a higher time frame and what we're looking at in the analysis that I've produced this week. But for starters, what I want to do is, let me just pull this down just a little bit for you. For starters, what we're going to do is have a look into the Aussie dollar and the Japanese yen. So this morning on forexfactory.com is where I use my calendar for news events. You see we had the Aig manufacturing index for the Aussie dollar come out, which is 55.7. Okay. Now, anything above 50 on this index is indicating that we're having market expansion. Anything below 50 is market contraction. Our manufacturing index, and I say our because I am based here in Australia, our manufacturing index was actually a good result. It was our best result since August 2021. So it's been a while where our manufacturing industry has been slower growth, some months contracting. We have just produced a great 55.7 up from a 53.2, which is showing not only are we in growth last month, but we're also increasing that growth rate into this month as well, last month as well. This is a really good indication when we start looking ahead into the Aussie dollar employment rates, when we start looking at trade balance. These are key indications into how we can predict that data. And I made a play on the Aussie dollar retail sales earlier in the week, which I'm going to show you how I made that play as well, based off of this data, which we get earlier in the month. So first thing I want to discuss was 8:30 this morning, my time, about 2.5 hours ago. We did produce good results on the Aussie dollar. Now, this is results that's not going to move the market the way you've probably seen it do before. These are just little indications that, okay, we're still bullish Aussie dollar. We're still fundamentally thinking that's going to go up. So overall, it's pretty good. Japanese yen in about 40 minutes at 10:50 a.m. for me, my time. We've got the Tankan Manufacturing Index, and it's forecasted to drop 6 points. Okay, now that is a large drop. That is a very large drop that's forecasted. It's showing that the people or the banks, the big hedge funds are predicting that the Japanese yen's weakened over the past month. I'm not sure about it. I'm not overly sure about it. The Japanese yen's been very mixed. While I'm still holding more of a bullish approach, some of their data's released some really good, released some really good signs. Some of their other data's been a bit, I'm not too sure, which is probably why more people are pessimistic in predicting a drop in the manufacturing index. The manufacturing industry is nowhere near as big as what it once was in Japan. The biggest industry at the moment is probably more your services industry, which is where the retail sales comes into it. And you can see the retail sales data was a shock report. While they predicted slowing, a large bit of slowing, it really crashed. So maybe we're looking at a similar opportunity here in the Tankan Manufacturing Index. When we had a look at the industrial production, it was the first time in 3 months that we're actually positive with that. Still not great data and still didn't reach the forecast, but it was an improvement. Okay, so we did improve on the industrial production, which obviously falls under manufacturing as well. So are we going to see an improvement in the Tankan Manufacturing Index, which is released quarterly, by the way, so we're based in the last 3 months. But given that it's a survey of big companies, usually they're more inclined to base their decisions off of recent data rather than of 3 months ago, because, well, that's where emotion comes into it. If you've had a really bad month, you're probably going into the survey with a negative attitude and therefore forecasting negative results compared to if you had 3 months running on the trot. So, bit of a mixed idea. Personally, I can see this kind of being flat, sticking around the 18. They're forecasting down to 12. I think there's a lot of room for a shock report. And if we do get a shock report, it's going to generate a lot of volatility in the market. If we get a shock report, which is negative, which is bad for the US dollar, right? So if we go even below 12, we get down to like 10s, 9s, or 8s, or even right the way down the negatives, I will likely take a long position. It has to be a really shock report. I will likely take a long position on the Aussie dollar Japanese yen. Now, the reason I've picked the Aussie dollar is, as I discussed just before, I am bullish Aussie dollar. Okay, the results we're getting, the fundamentals that are coming out, overall, my bias on Aussie dollar is bullish. Technically, and some of you will point it out, I released an idea that we may have topped out, but in order for trading news, short-term trading news, maybe catch 10, 15, 20 pips, Aussie dollar, Japanese yen would be the one I'll be pairing the Japanese yen again because we'll get the most volatility, but also because I'm very bullish Aussie dollar with a bias. We'll touch on the trade idea I produced yesterday on the 1 hour or the 4 hour chart. I think it was the 1 hour chart on shorting the Aussie dollar, and we'll discuss that momentarily. Before I proceed, I just dropped a lot of knowledge, stuff that I've never really talked about. I'm kind of easing in. I feel like a lot of people who join these streams now are starting to get an idea of how I trade and how I run things. Starting to get a little bit more in depth now. Is there any questions or anything you guys want to talk about? Because I just did drop a lot of value and talk quite quickly. I want to ensure that everyone's caught up, everyone understands what's going on and what I was saying. Jeff says, I'm also focusing on one pair again. It's US dollar, Japanese yen. You're a fan of that pair now. Interesting. US dollar, Japanese yen is definitely one of the more volatile. Nothing compared to like the Great British Pound, Japanese yen. That can be crazy. But the Japanese yen as a whole can be more volatile, which is always fun to trade. But it's good that you've narrowed down to one pair and you're gonna see how it acts and learn its way, learn its strategy. Very good. All right, I'm gonna take 5. I'm just gonna relax and Am I going to explain the EU? Yes, I'll have a chat about the Euro US dollar momentarily. We did obviously, the Euro is a little crazy at the moment. I'm trying to stay away from it just because every little piece of news that comes out of Ukraine and Russia is sending the Euro crazy. And I'll discuss that as well because we had obviously good news coming out of the peace talks that they may be making progress, like they're not going to be attacking Kyiv or anything like that. And then about 2 hours later, there was bombing in Kyiv, so markets trying to decipher whether they're lying or whether there is good news. There's a whole different thing. It's a whole new world going into trading the euro, but I will touch on it as well. I will have a look at it. So no one has any questions? We're all good? I can continue talking? Okay, very good. If you do have any questions, put it through. If it's not on the topic that I'm talking about at the time, I'll come back to it later. So that's a play potentially this morning in about 30 minutes. I'll probably just sit back and watch. We'll keep an eye on for what the data is that comes out. But if it is really negative for the Japanese yen, I can see the Aussie dollar doing pretty well against that. And then into next week, we've got a lot of Aussie dollar stuff. While we're still touching on the Aussie dollar, I will discuss a trade I had last week. I'm going to open up my MetaTrader 5 platform and it might break my computer momentarily, so just bear with me if it does. I think it's going to... Yeah, okay, we're alright. Alright, MetaTrader 5, you all know how it is. You know it is. This is my live account, okay? So I've decided to make a change, that this is the funded account I received from the 5ers before joining the 5%ers, okay? Now, for you guys that don't know, before I became a senior analyst at this firm, I did pass the evaluation, got funded, and then became an analyst. So I've done everything that you guys are doing. So this is that account that I received prior to becoming an analyst. I still trade it. I still like to trade it. And what I did, as you can see down the bottom here, was made a play on the Aussie dollar US dollar. My camera's in the way, but this is Aussie dollar US dollar. What I did was make a play on it earlier in the week, which obviously hit our take profit and banked $120. And I'm going to show you exactly what that play was and why I did it. So if we head over here, let's get rid of that. A couple days ago, earlier in the week, you can see this is the play here. I'm going to run you through why I did it like this, why this trade, and how the analysis came through, because it wasn't technical. It was all fundamental, this play. Okay. Gold on NFP. I'll talk about NFP soon, safe. I'll talk about NFP very soon. We've got plenty of time before the NFP comes out. I know you're all excited about it, but I personally don't like trading NFP. But yeah, we can have a discussion about it soon. So Aussie dollar, US dollar. Ignoring these drawings, okay? Let's ignore all these. We'll come back to these in a little bit. When did we take the trade? 29th. For you guys that don't know, these grey areas marked on the chart, this right here, this is just signaling the Asian session, okay? Because that's obviously where I trade. This is a given time now. This is just signaling the times that I trade. That's all that is. So on the Asian session, little while ago, you can see we had, where are we? Aussie dollar retail sales coming out here. Now, the analysis was quite simple. Forecasted negative results. I couldn't see why they were forecasting negative results. To me, seeing firsthand here, and then also reading previous reports, that I couldn't see why on earth banks were forecasting negative results on retail sales. It just made no sense to me. So I was that confident that we weren't going to get negative results, that the growth, it would either stay the same or in fact increase, that it was going to be a shock report. And as you can see, we doubled the forecast in actual returns. So I wanted to make a play on that news coming out. So this news came out at 11:30. At about 11:25, I entered the market right here. The start of this candle, I entered the market here with a very simple strategy. It was a 20 pip stop and a 20. Whoa, that's not wrong. And a 20 pip. A 20 pip take profit because I expected this data to be strong. The reason I expected this data to be strong, as you can see, retail sales we were up. If you look back at the services sector in the Aussie dollar, here we go, and then you get out the, I do not have a report. Where's the report? You can see we had growth in the flash services PMI. I'm looking for the Aig Services Index when we find it. Momentarily, bear with me. Here we go, Aig Services Index. If we pull up this report that we had here and we go in, you can see here the sales blew out the 12-month average. Anything above 50, much like the other reports, anything above 50 is market expansion. Anything below 50 is market contraction. We absolutely blew out compared to everything else. Like, we are through the roof on sales in the services sector, okay? That is a huge indication that retail sales is going to be good news. So I was a little confused on why the forecast came out so negative. When I say so negative, I mean they were looking to take it down to 0.9 slower growth. I didn't understand that. So I made the play on taking it long, and as you can see, that is how it unfolded throughout the day. And then I've got the history here, so where we bought, the stop loss, the take profit, the commissions, and then the final profit there as well. So I thought I'd just show you guys that you can also make money just solely fundamental trading. And I do like to do it every now and then on the Aussie dollar, really mostly only the Aussie dollar. Other than my technical, more swing trading stuff, the intraday plays that you can make on news are possible. Okay, we've got that out of the way. We've discussed the news coming up. We've got that out of the way. Let's start getting into the more higher time frame analytics that you guys love so much. Aussie dollar, US dollar. First one we're talking about. I put up a trade ID yesterday, which you'll see here. Let's pull it up. Aussie dollar topped out. Okay, simple double top formation. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I could see. I put it up there. A few guys got around it and came over and give it a like. You may have even found us from this post, which was nice. We had a pop up. We had the highs. We come down. We broke a lower low. We broke a bit of structure. We come back up. We failed to break a higher high, and we started to move back down. Okay, forming a double top. We might form a bit of a channel or a pennant here. Keep that in mind. But overall, we formed that double top. And as you can see, as price played out, we did break down. We haven't yet broken through. Let me delete this forecast here. We haven't yet broken through the neck level of that head and shoulders, okay, which is this black line drawn here. We haven't broken through that neckline yet. What we need to do is come down and get through that in order to validate this supply area, okay? So at the moment, I'm sitting on my hands. As I said, we could still go bullish, as fundamentally I like what the Aussie dollar is doing. We could still go bullish. This could be a pennant and then a break higher, but it was a potential play, and that's why I put it out. It was a potential setup. It doesn't mean sell. I know a few of the guys in the Discord did sell around here, which would have been a fantastic trade. Well done if you did. But I'm hands off. I'm risk off on this right now because I'm not sure. Once it gets below here, then I'll start looking for shorts. But where we're at right now, I'm unsure. Obviously, you can see my target area will be this demand, and we could even take it back higher from this area. But we'll assess the situation when price comes down to that level. Euro US dollar was highly requested from Asfand, so let's have a look into Euro US dollar. I did also have another idea on Euro US dollar earlier in the week, and I'm going to show you that. To show you how that played out. If you saw these ideas earlier in the week, they got taken off of TradingView because we broke some of the rules in some of the things we discussed. But we've managed to sort that, and we're good now. But yeah, that was why those videos disappeared when some of you couldn't click on it. It was a matter of mentioning other social links that we weren't allowed to do. I released this on Euro US dollar earlier in the week. As you can see, March 28th. We're now April 1st. Well, I am. For some of you, you'll be March 31st. These are the areas I was looking on Euro US dollar as potential trading areas. Keep in mind what I just said before. The euro has been acting wild. Rightly so. Okay, rightly so. It's been going a little bit crazy, but it deserves to be. There's a lot of stuff going on over in Europe at the moment, which is going to send that value a little bit all over the shop. If we hit play here, you can see what happened. We managed to break through the weak support, which, as I discussed, I anticipated. Went through here somewhere, favoring the downside, maybe down at that lower stronger demand. This is where I was aiming to get. Okay. Now these are weak support because it had been tested so many times that it wasn't really going to hold up very well. As you can see, it didn't. It broke out and then we shot straight back into the range. This large bull run, which we caught on Euro Swiss franc, and I'll run you through that shortly. That was all the peace talks making progress in Ukraine-Russia conflict. Okay. A lot of people started to flood back into the euro. Peace talks were making progress. We're going to get some good news. Buy. And as you can see, that's exactly what we did. We did bounce from the supply area right in the kill zone up the top there. We did bounce back down, but as you can see, we pushed back up. Then, beautiful again, reports coming out that Kyiv's been attacked, and around Kyiv has been attacked by the Russians. So all of this was potentially a lie, and the chart's coming back down. Okay, now you can understand how fundamental things have a play in this. Okay, you can look at this and it will line up with potential support and resistance. You can call them fake outs, liquidity grabs, whatever. But realistically, there was a lot of buying power here because positive talks in Europe, a lot of selling power here because of negative results in Europe. So Euro US dollar is a really tough one to try and predict and trade at the moment. While naked eye trading, you can see that we are in a bit of a channel, maybe a really big bearish flag pattern, depending on how this plays out. On the daily chart, this would be, we're coming in, we're bouncing around, we could look to go short again. Can the euro be shorted even more? We're already very far down. We did obviously have this kind of setup here, pushed up, bang down again. There's a lot we can kind of react from, but I'm not loving the idea of trading the euro at the moment solely because the news is so volatile in it. That if I do trade the euro, I want to be small time frames, 10, 15-minute time frames. I don't want to be exposed to that market as much as I am. Because if I'm in a long position, or like when I say long position, I mean time frame. If I'm in a position for a couple of days, I'm going to be needing to constantly check the news streams, checking Twitter to ensure that nothing damaging is coming out, so I can manage my position correctly. So that's a big time grab that I'm not willing to sit through. So I'd rather sit on my hands when it comes to euro. I hope that answered your question there, Asfand, and gave you a bit of insight. I know it wasn't great on bias. Flag pattern forming, potentially going short, but it all depends on how the euro how the Europe war at the moment undergoes. Does anyone have any questions on that before we move on? I've got a lot to fit in today's trading room, so I am talking quite quickly. I'm also Australian, so that just tends to happen. So if I am talking too fast, please yell at me. Tell me, slow down, or if there's something you missed or you wanted to get more clarity on, also yell at me and I will react accordingly. How's everyone? Is anyone here trading the freestyle account? Just while we take a moment's break, is anyone trading the freestyle account here? Is anyone past the freestyle account here? I know we've had a fair few people just absolutely ace that, which is good to see. It's good to see that we're attracting a whole new range of traders as well. Finally, a program that suits them, where you don't have to be going for a profit target. Kutira, hello, welcome to the live stream. I'm glad you can make it. We're just taking 5. We're just settling after chatting for so long here. We're just going to answer anyone's questions if anyone does have any questions. So I'll give it another 2 minutes to see if anyone wants to speak up. If not, then we'll continue and we'll start having a look at that Euro Swiss franc trade. But I don't want to do too much on that because I did a video on that yesterday, and I'll probably just link you guys over to that because you can watch our whole trade review on how that worked, and then we'll start analyzing potential future opportunities as well. If there's anything you guys want me to analyze, anything you guys want me to have a look at or discuss other than NFP, I will get to NFP and gold on NFP. Do yell out. I will get to NFP. So many traders love NFP. Hello, I've been thinking about joining the group. Any advice? Joining which group? Which group are you like joining the 5ers? Ensure that your strategy is valid, your confidence is high, and you're willing to commit. I mean, we're a trading firm at the end of the day, so if you want to trade our funds, trade our funds. Obviously, we've got a lot of resources in myself, in Ruben, in Yaniv, in Sol, Mickey. Anyone catch Mickey's stream earlier today? We've got so many people here that can help you succeed in trading our live accounts and gain more equity in that way. But yeah, as general advice, as far goes, like the good thing is a lot of the traders we deal with already have very strong concepts and knowledge of the market before they come in, and which is a powerful thing. So we don't have to spend all day describing the very basic standards of trading because they all understand it. And the beauty is we can focus on the more in-depth stuff, the more harder to learn strategies, not so much strategies as in listening to your emotions, change the concept on how they're trading and how they've been taught just a little bit to nurture them into realistically the right way and the more profitable way to be trading. And that's the beauty of joining a firm. So I'm not sure on what advice to give you, but yeah, that would be what I'd say. Okay, before we go any further, he's been patient. Let's have a look at gold. Now, you're talking about trading gold on NFP. I personally just trade the US dollar. That would be my advice, but I guess we can have a look because gold just replicates the US dollar anyway. So like does the hedges the US dollar. You might as well just trade the US dollar. Unemployment rate on the US dollar. If we have a look at non-farm employment change. Okay. What are they forecasting? They're forecasting an increase, which is good. Obviously, the lower the number, the better, because the unemployment rate's lower. So they're forecasting good news. Very similar, not very good news, but a little bit of good news. If we got anything out here which is going to give us an indication, unemployment claims were higher. That's interesting. If the unemployment claims are higher, you'd assume more people are unemployed. So that could be something to factor into it. Now, obviously, if this could be good news, yeah, so we could get some news come out that is really good for the economy, but the chart could go negative. And the reason of that is sometimes if we have shock compared to what the forecast is, it'll play that. Or another one is we might see that it's already been factored in. The news has already been so predictable that it's already been factored into the market. Euro US dollar is not a good one to look at. Okay, let's have a look at gold because he was talking about gold before. Let's say we're expecting good news on the US dollar. Okay, we're expecting good news. The employment rate's going to come down, and we're going to trade that to the upside. Trade gold to the downside. If we see for the first couple of hours before news comes out that the chart is already like quite strongly moving in a certain direction, there's a good chance that right there is everyone factoring in the possibility of good news. Okay, if that's already factored in and then we do get the good news, what you're going to witness is profit taking, which will send the price against your original analysis of, oh my god, I thought that was going to be good news. Wait, it is good news. Why is the chart going the other way? it's because it may have already been factored into the chart before the news released. Okay, so always watch out for prior moves. If there are really out of the ordinary prior moves, it's usually an indication that people are factoring in the data before it happens. It's them ones when you get shock data which really move the chart, and they're really fun to trade because they're quite predictable when you get that shock data. That doesn't mean if you're shorting gold because you're expecting good news on the Aussie dollar that you'll lose. If you do it right before the open of the news, probably you will because chart will rock up. But it might be a matter of factor in, profit taking, and then factoring for the next 3 days that it was actually positive news. The US dollar is going to be bullish. So there's a million different ways to try and trade the NFP. Don't do it if you're a beginner. Don't even look at the NFP if you're a beginner. Close all positions before it because it can be a highly erratic time, and it can confuse a lot of people. And essentially, you think it's going one way, you buy in because you've got massive FOMO and the chart's moving so quickly, and then it flips and goes the other way. It's NFP. It's the perfect beginner trade trap. Don't fall for that. But yeah, have a look if there's any prior moves, any decent prior moves prior to the news coming out. If there is some decent moves, assume that the news is going to be in that direction because a lot of the market will already be factoring that into the prices. And then maybe even expect once the news has come out a bit of profit taking. That's why usually a lot of people will be like, what? This was really good news for the economy. Why is everyone now shorting it? Usually it's because it's already been factored in. It was very predictable, and now that they're taking their profits, they got the increase of liquidity of all those beginner traders trying to get in on that news, that they can take their profits. Hello, I've been thinking about joining group. Yeah, what do you think about Great British Pound, Japanese Yen 5 minute? You're asking a lot of me there. I'm not gonna lie. I can have a look for you, but we'll see what the news comes out. How's the Japanese? We're already going up. Okay, are people? So this is another one. Are people factoring in that this news for the Japanese yen is already going to be bad? Because what we're seeing is a nice run. I mean, how far have we gone in the Asian session here? We've already gone 37 pips in the Asian session prior to this news coming out. Okay, are people factoring in the chance that this is as negative as they're anticipating? Are we shorting the Japanese yen and in turn buying the Great British Pound against it? This is something we've got to discuss because in 10 minutes we're going to have the Japanese yen news. It might not be very volatile news. We might only move about 10 pips. However, is it going to be a profit taking or is it just going to be literally a straight run up? Usually with Asian session news, you can factor it in and then you can trade it, and then over the next few hours, it'll kind of play itself out. But yeah, we'll see what the news comes out. If the news is a shock news release, I might trade it today. But as I said, I'm going to pair it against the Aussie dollar rather than the US dollar, the pound. Okay, where were we? I haven't even done my normal analysis today. I've just been so flat out in arranging everything else. This is the beautiful trade, the very, very beautiful trade that we discussed for so long. And what I'm going to do is, instead of run you through it all, you can see the trade. All right. Most of you would have seen the trade because we talked about it last week. And not only did we talk about it last week, we talked about it many times on the TradingView chart before it all unfolded. As you can see, here's the green arrow. Here's what we wanted. There's the analysis. We click play. There's the trade, right? We also spoke about it all the way back on the 22nd, even before all of that unfolded, what I was looking for. Pull down into this area, push higher, pull down into this area. There's the trade, okay? You can head over to our TradingView account. You can see that. Then click on this video where I did a very new concept of a thumbnail. Interesting. I tried something a little bit different. Here, I talk about everything that we did, how the trade unfolded, what we were looking for from the start to finish, and then how it ended up. So head over there. We can discuss that trade there. I did a full 10-minute video talking about it. So I'm not going to talk about too much about this trade. But this complete trade from here, from when the price was here, this whole trade I talked about, analyzed, and produced on our TradingView account. So if you're not following, come over, give us a follow, stay in tune with what we upload, because well, what I upload, I run the whole account, because we do discuss all of this type of stuff. And as I said, I was predicting this trade from here, and we did, with the analysis was correct. I missed the trade, and I explained that in the video. I was very gutted that I missed the trade, but the analysis was very much the same. So head over there if you want to watch that. Other than that, we've got 10 minutes till that news comes out. I kind of want to watch it. In terms of looking at potential short plays, now, once again, it's the euro, so I don't love it. But on the 1 hour chart, we've got something very, very interesting here, right? We have a break of structure. Everyone knows how I trade. We have a break of structure right here. Let's get that dashed line. What's the link to the trading view page? Sure. There you go. Sent that through here. Yes, myself too. For 14 years you've been trading. Outstanding. I need that emotional help. Yeah. Well, come trade at our firm. See if you can pass through some of the evaluation. The freestyle is very easy, in a sense of if you know what you're doing, you will get an account. It's a lot better than the other ones we have. If you know, once you get in there, you can book a meeting with myself or with one of the other analysts, and we can help you on that emotional side as well. We do have a couple things coming soon, which is going to be exciting to talk about, but I can't mention anything just yet. So you'll see. All right, back onto this analysis. Did we kind of top out up here potentially? All right, is this the highest we're going to go? Euro, Japanese yen, and kind of all Japanese yen has been massively shorted during this whole Europe crisis. If you have a look monthly return wise through March, I think all the pairs against the Japanese yen have made the most ground. Like I'm talking like 10% moves, which is huge. And as you can see on this chart here, like if we go on a monthly candle, let's remove that drawing so it's not in the way. You can see, look at the monthly candle we've had here. It's not very often we do get these large monthly candles, but when we do, it usually indicates a lot of volatility. Euro, Aussie dollar didn't really do it, but US dollar, Japanese yen, it did. As you can see, the Japanese yen had a lot of volatility this month. It was definitely our biggest mover. So when we look down on the Euro, Japanese yen, do we look for a potential pullback after such a large move, or do we see it as an indication that we're going to go higher? Okay, I can tell you now that I'm potentially looking for a pullback. And the reason I'm looking for a pullback is because this chart right here is telling me that there's one unfolding, the same way we just traded Euro Swiss franc, all right, what we just discussed. Foxes, first time viewer from Oz, welcome mate, it's great to see you. Yeah, there's a lot more Australian traders than I thought there was, especially at our firm as well, which is fantastic because, well, as you can probably hear, I'm from Australia too. But welcome, mate. I'm glad you're here. Glad you made it. So as you can see, we may have topped out here on the Euro Japanese yen, right? At least to the point of maybe a pullback. If we catch this whole thing, for those who are Fibonacci traders, you know, we can start looking around. Okay, are we going to pull back to the 50? Anything like that? Potentially, right? It's in there. Most of you know how I trade and how I want to trade, in the sense of I want to see two breaks of structures, a pullback to that second break of structure supply or demand area, and then a confirmation and a push from there. What do we see here? We see two break of structures, right? We're here on the 4 hour. Bang, right here, break of structure. Created a new low. Then bang, right here, break of structure. And not only a break of structure, but it is a break of structure with some very juicy candles. Okay, those juicy candles are what I like to see. So now we're sitting in an area where we can start thinking, we've had two breaks of structures. We're massively extended compared to what this pair usually does. Can we see this now coming back down? The only issue I have with it is it's the euro. I don't like trading the euro right now. I've discussed why, especially a longer term position. I will still conduct the analysis. If I do take this trade, I'm probably going half or quarter risk is what I usually do, because I don't like trading the euro right now. It's too volatile if I'm trying to swing trade. There's too many aspects in it that can just make technical analysis completely invalid. I love a juicy candle. That's right, Stephanie. Yeah, those juicy candles are what we absolutely adore to see. So we had a break of structure followed by another break of structure, which has given us a strong. The thing is, our supply area candle is quite large. Okay. In the event that we do get these large supply area candles, I keep it drawn like that, like we did on Eurosys Frank, but I also jump into the lower time frame of the 1 hour and I look for really where them orders generated, and it's right in here. And for you guys that don't know, I probably don't have to say it. What do we like to call that? What do I like to call that? In that little area right there. That's going to be the point I want it to get to. Does anyone know what I call it? Pop out to the 4 hour here. So all of a sudden, we now have this drawn up. Okay. There it is. There it is, Horman. The kill zone. Welcome as well. It's nice to see you. As you know, that's the kill zone. That is where I want price to get. So all of a sudden now, just from looking at a blind eye chart, completely technical analysis, I have a bit of a plan. I have a plan of action. I want price to get into this kill zone and I want to short it. That's it. That's simple, right? That's the simple idea. I want price to get in that kill zone and I want to short it. Now, I need to see a lot more than that, but as a general overview, that's what I'm looking to do. If price can make it back up into this area, that's when we'll start jumping back down on the 1 hour chart. And as price, if we get a bit of a forecast, where are we? Where's our forecasts? This one. If we get a bit of a, nope, that's the wrong one. Sorry. If we do get a move like this, and it's kind of coming in like this, and then we get into here, into the area where we wanted to get to, okay, something like this. Let's just say this is how it could be very different. You know, price could just rip straight up into there. Price could take 17 weeks to get into there. We never know. If we get something like this, what we're going to be looking at is that trend right there. We're going to be looking for a tap inside here and a clear rejection. If we get above here, I'm not trading. I don't want to trade it. Okay. I want to tap in here and a clear rejection, a break of trend, perhaps a little rest, retest the trend line, and then a break of structure. Okay. We want a clear break of structure right there. That right there will be the entry point. Where our target is, well, that's just the fun. That is just the fun in figuring out where do we want to take it. First target will be very simple. It'll be about here. If this is where the price ends, it'll be around here, okay? First target. Second target, depending on how you want to do your targets, you know, we can have a look in here. There's obviously some strong demand in this area where it's pushed up. We can have a look in this area. It depends, and we can also pull back to that Fibonacci on the monthly candle on how far down do you think we're going to get. We can start messing with the profit target. But for now, without having to worry about where it's going to go and what the profit's going to be, we've got a lot that needs to unfold. And this will be a trade idea which I produce on the TradingView channel once this live stream's ended. I'll do a little bit of analysis and write about it. But this right here is going to be what we're looking for, or something similar to that is going to be what I'm looking for here on the Euro Japanese yen. If we see all of this, and you see, I'm asking for a lot. I need to see a lot. But if we do see all of this, I'm taking it short. Okay. Now, I hope that gave a bit of insight into how I run my analysis. Not even insight, that gave me a whole run of how I do my technical analysis, right? There's my strategy. You've just seen it. And you've seen it every week, and you've seen it on the TradingView. I talk about it all the time. That's how I do my swing trades. But does anyone have any questions about that? Does anyone have any questions about maybe a different pair? Any questions at all? Because we've just hit 1050. Whoops, I completely forgot. Is that out yet? Nope. I completely forgot that we hit 1050. Let's go ahead and jump on the Aussie dollar Japanese yen. Okay, we haven't really moved. Which is good. Do you only use this strategy on the 4-hour? What if you saw the exact setup on the 15? I do only use it. See, good data. See, I didn't know why they were guessing a 6-point decrease. Like that was a very large decrease. I discussed that at the start. 14. Okay, better than forecast. Still a slow in the economy. But as you can see, there's a bit of money coming into the Japanese yen now because it was better than the forecast. But yeah, as I said, it's still a slow. We've still slowed down from last month where we're the slow. Oh, so this is the quarterly. So we're the slowest since mid-year last year. We're on top of that. So yeah, better than forecast, which could incentivize a bit of buying in the Japanese yen, which is happening here. I might look to actually fade this because I don't think it's going to last. If we do get a bit more of a push down, I might fade it and buy back into the Aussie dollar. Because it is still it's a bad announcement, right? While it's green and we're better than forecast very well, it's still a slow in the manufacturing industry. And to be fair, there's a big increase in the non-manufacturing industry. I was ignoring that. That's a very big increase. They were predicting a decrease, and it's actually just maintained the same as where it's at. So we might have a bit of buying power coming for the Japanese yen, maybe push us down to these lows, and then I still might look to fade it into the Aussie dollar. If we looked at something else, like so Euro Japanese yen, it might be moving a little bit differently. Swiss francs, yeah. See, the Aussie dollar's proving to be one of the stronger ones because it's not letting it move as much, and that looks like that might have been the fading opportunity right there, but that's okay. Yeah, so on the 4-hour charts, mostly I do Horman because I analyze the 4-hour chart and then I make the trade down on the 1 hour or the 15 minutes. So it starts on the 4-hour chart, but realistically, like it's multi-time frame analysis, so it kind of does a rundown through on what it is. So yeah, we'll see how that unfolds, but it could work on the 15-minute. It's just like trends on the 15-minute last nowhere near as long on compared to the 4-hour, and don't have as much buying power because obviously there's a lot more people trading the 4-hour over time, a lot more volume than there is people trading the 15-minute chart. Really good. I haven't traded Forex. Is it similar to equity trading in terms of technical analysis? Can you apply the same strategy? 100% Foxes. Whether you're trading indices, stocks, cryptocurrencies, anything, they all pretty much run through the same technical analysis because they're all driven by the same thing. And you know what they're all driven by? Humans. Okay? We all buy and sell, and that's what moves the market. So no matter what market you're in, technical analysis stays valid as long as you can find the patterns in human nature. And that's the beauty of trading is you can kind of run technical analysis. I mean, stocks, equities, indices, driven a little bit more by fundamental approaches and a little bit more predictable given the less volume. And you can kind of see when the volume comes to the market. Forex, not so much. Forex obviously being open 24 hours a day as well is a little bit more difficult. But it is very much the same concept. If you're a TA trader, Forex, yeah, 100%. You can swing it. I've got a lot of equity traders in prop firms in Sydney that I know, and they bounce between. Their main focus is equities, but if they see a play on the Forex markets in the futures or whatever it might be, they'll come over and they'll make a play. I did go bullish after the candle crossed to 134.860 and sit my TP at 135.9. What are you talking about? Are you on Euro JPY? What time frame are we looking at? You went long at 134.86. So like where we are now? You went long where we are now? With take profit at 135.9. Oh, right. So I hope you're not doing that because of my analysis. I hope you have another reason. You're going long to get it back into this area. Please note, this isn't me forecasting exactly what's going to happen. This is me showing you what I want to see in order for me to go short. Okay. So this price might literally just go tank, or it might sit here, go down. It could do anything, right? I'm not predicting that this is what's going to happen. What I'm doing is saying, if this happens, I'm going short. Okay, just so everyone's clear on that. This isn't a forecast of, yep, price is going to come into this area. This is a forecast of, if price comes into this area, I'm going short. Just so everyone's clear. So if you have gone long there, okay, fantastic. If you have gone long there and it's part of your strategy, fantastic, well done. I hope you're right, because if you're right, then I can look for shorts at the top end. But yeah, just to ensure that no one's trading blindly off that this isn't me forecasting what's going to happen. This is me forecasting what I'll do if it does happen. Let's just check in momentarily on Japanese yen. Ooh, okay. So we're getting a bit of buying power come into the Japanese yen, which is good, because we had some good news, right? What have you got for me? Business conditions, manufacturing decreased, non-manufacturing decreased. Okay. That's from the large enterprises, but the medium sized have also decreased. And okay, I've got some questions about this report. I won't lie. I'll run through that and talk about that later. I've got some questions about that report. I might look to fade this move on the Japanese yen. Okay, so I'm going to be looking potentially at, where are we? Something like this. Might be a good potential fade opportunity on the Japanese yen a little bit later today. But we'll see, because we've already moved a lot in today's session. We've moved 23 pips. Aussie dollar Japanese yen pair usually sits around the 30 to 40 pips per trading session. Will they do it in the first couple hours of the Asian trading session? I'm not sure. So it's a risky one, but I may look to fade in this area depending on what happens. Nah, it's coming in too soon. Nah, I'll just watch it. I'm not gonna react on it, but I'll just watch it. I'll see what happens. We'll see if I'm right, shall we? Did you base it? Fantastic. I'm a beginner trader and seeking help. Thank God I got lucky to join your live session. I want to use this opportunity to introduce me to Forex Factory and how to use it efficiently. Thanks a lot. Hi, Brian. Hello. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Forex Factory is a fantastic source of news releases. What they do is compile all the ones depending on the currency, right? Let's go Aussie dollar. And they'll give you a impact. So the color of the folder, the darker it is, the more likely it's going to impact the market in their opinion. They'll give you what the big banks and everyone's forecasting of data. They'll give you what the previous months and the history of that data was. And then they'll also give you what the actual forecast was as soon as they have access to it. Really good for fundamental trading. If you're not a fundamental trader, probably won't help you very much. Unless you're a swing trader and you just want to be aware that there may be some news coming out while your position's in. If you get a big red, like the RBA statement coming out on Tuesday next week, and you're long Aussie dollar, you might want to start taking some cash out of that position just in case on what this result's going to be. Overall, I'm bullish. I think the cash rate's going to remain the same. But I don't want to do the analysis for you. I have to go now, but we'll look for more of your live streams. No worries, Foxes. It was great to meet you. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, we are running out of time. We've been an hour. Is there anything anyone wants to touch on before we call it a day? Anything anyone wants to talk about? Any questions about the programs at the firm? Any questions about anything at all? While I'm here and while you have me, fire away. Even if there's just a little something where you're thinking, oh, that might be a stupid question, send it over. Okay. you got this moment now. We'll spend a quick 5 minutes here just having a chat. So if there is anything you want to touch on or run through, now's your chance. I'm going to keep an eye on. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go back and show you guys the Aussie dollar Japanese yen. You can see did we touch it? 91197. 91197. We did. We just touched in, and look at that buying power. Look at that buying power. We shot up an R straight away. And as I said, I'm not surprised. I didn't take the trade, and I told you I won't take the trade. I said that multiple times, but my God, I mean, could you be more predictable? Could you be more predictable? You can see right there. If you did take this trade, please pull your stop to break even, let it run. Okay, let it run. But yeah, that was kind of obvious that was going to happen. So, oh well, it is what it is. We'll move to look to the next one. It might come down, stop us at break even anyway. Is it riskier to trade on the lower 15-minute time frame versus the higher time frame? Risk is the same either way, no matter how you trade it. There you go, we're ripping through now. There might have actually been some more news come out, because that seems to be ripping more than the original report. So we'll have to keep an eye. I don't have my Twitter feed up, so we'll have to keep an eye. Let me quickly pull up the Twitter feed and see what's happening. Tankan report, headline manufacturing index. Yes, I think it's just people maybe reacting. Bank of Japan to boost bond buying even as the yen suffers its worst month. Yeah, it's true. There's definitely something else that's come out, because that volatility right there was not expected, considering the news came out up here. So interesting to see what that will be. Yeah, sorry, back to the risk remains the same whether you trade in the 15-minute or the 4-hour. It depends how you calculate risk. If your risk is to how long you're exposed to a market, then yes, your risk is higher on higher time frames. If your risk is how many trades you take, then yes, it's riskier down on the 15-minute time frames. And it also depends on the strategy. Your strategy has to coincide with the time frame you're on, because if you're buying something that requires millions on millions on millions on millions of dollars to move the market, there's a good chance you're going to get that on the 4-hour chart. There's not a good chance that you're going to get it on that 15-minute chart exactly when you buy, right? 4-hour chart, you can get a lot more volume and a lot more bulls or a lot more bears, a lot more people analyzing that market, and a lot of firms who are doing the overall market pushes looking at those higher areas. Down on the 15-minute, you're a little bit more scalpier, and you look to trade those volatile times in which produce. What's your opinion about gold, US dollar? Do you think it'll go down? Gold or US dollar? Because they both do the opposite. They pretty much coincide, but that depends on NFP. I don't want to do any analysis on that because NFP is going to send that crazy tonight anyway. So, yeah. Is there a way to try out the 5ers without paying? Unfortunately not. Sorry. We do offer a cheaper program, like the Bootcamp program, where you can pretty much pay a small fee, and then once you pass the evaluation to get a $100,000 account, then you pay the rest of the fee, which is a good little incentive, which I think is fantastic. But there's no free programs now. Okay. Well, I'm glad I didn't take the trade. It would have got me out at break even, probably lost on commissions. But overall, still a little unsure. I want to know what that move was and why it happened. Because even if we pull up the volume chart here, now I know it's not the right to do that. Look at the volume increase we had around here. Definitely, like, considering the news was announced here, it's interesting that we're getting the volume increase here. And it wasn't delayed data because we had access to that. So it's very interesting Wow, they made more money. Interesting. They all did on all fronts. They all made money. Very good. Good for the Bank of Japan. Good for the Japanese industry. But we still might be fading this. We'll see how it unfolds throughout the day. It's going to be an interesting to watch throughout the day because obviously we opened down here. So it'll be interesting to see if we can pull back into the open before heading higher, or whether this is going to be the moment we start looking higher. If we go on the 5 minute, we've just broken structure. We could look to short up here, but there's a million different ways we could trade this today, so it's going to be interesting. Gold, yeah, as I said, it could do anything. It could go any way at any time, as usual. With NFP coming out tonight, I'm unsure. We did get a break of structure there, pullback, break of structure. Then in my eyes, we've got a solid demand setup in here, maybe even in here. But with NFP coming out, hands off for me. Hands off. Unless I'm trading the fundamentals of NFP, which I don't have a bias on, so I'm not doing. Hands off. Thank you. Would you enter again? No. Nope. I would not. I might look for another opportunity on Aussie dollar Japanese yen. We're going to have a lot of volatility on it today, but I'm not looking to enter this trade again. No, sir. Not for me. Look at that volume difference. Very interesting. Very interesting. Moves like that is why I've sat out of Forex this week. Funky little moves all week. Yeah, exactly right. A lot of volatility in Forex this week. There has been, especially if you're trading on the lower time frames, there has been some real out of character moves. But it happens. It happens all the time. I might produce a little trading idea a little bit later on this. I'll look to maybe scalp it throughout today, but it's not looking overly likely. If we have a look at the calendar, do we have anything else coming out today? Chinese, Japanese. Friday, Japanese yen. We got the final manufacturing PMI in about 20 minutes. So another Japanese yen. Actually, this one might be predictable. Wow, they always forecast pretty much the same as the previous. Manufacturing PMI might be very predictable given that report, so keep an eye on that. But that might be the price factoring in now. Okay, I think that's going to do us, guys. I've gone a little bit over time, but I greatly appreciate everyone tuning in today. I hope you took a lot of value from looking at the previous trades we took in the week, as well as well, we almost had a trade live, but we didn't end up entering it or taking it. It is looking like it's about to hit the take profit if we had taken it. But yeah, that's a matter of whatever would have happened. We're getting a lot of buying power into the Aussie dollar, shorting the Japanese yen. A lot of people shorting the Japanese yen. And as I said, I'm not surprised. I didn't see, like, I think a lot of people bought it because the forecast, it was better than the forecast, which is good news that it's better than what the market expected. But at the end of the day, it's still slower growth. It's still slower than last month's growth, which is a bad sign. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the market reacts throughout today. I think my bias is to go long this pair, to be honest. I don't think I'm going to short. I think I'm going to short the Japanese yen all day, potentially, if I see the opportunities. But other than that, yeah, we just went through and hit take profit. If you have a look at the chart here, wrong one. You can see we're pushing higher, and I think that's going to continue throughout today. So keep an eye on that. Japanese yen weakness is what I'm looking for. When's my next live session? This time next week. Every week at this time is my live session. I might be doing a few over the next few weeks at a strange time, 7 p.m. my time, which is early morning for US, really early morning for US, and early morning for Europe, and late afternoon for us, but we'll see. Okay, guys, take care. It was an absolute privilege to host you again and to have this chat. Please come over to the TradingView account, leave some comments, leave some likes. It gives me a lot more motivation to understand that you guys are actually enjoying the content and the time that I put into it. The trade ideas, become part of the community, start talking to me more, and then we can actually run through a load of other stuff as well. And even if you send me a personal message being like, hey, what do you think of this? I can quickly draw some analysis for you too. Overall, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. take a step away from the charts over the weekend, relax, go spend some time with your family, go spend some time with your friends, reset, come in Monday, and let's have the best profitable week next week. Thanks, guys. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.